Good morning, folks. Welcome back live from Jerusalem to our good friends in Europe. Inspiring thoughts from the Bible with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. Rabbi Chaim is just tied up for 1 second, and he'll be right with us, folks. Considering there's now a ceasefire in Israel, but there was a bunch of rocket fire. I've heard as many as 600 rockets that were fired in the last several days. That's just crazy. But we know that light still shines out of Jerusalem. But we're here with some of our friends in Vilnius, Lithuania, live with us. How are you guys this morning? You're live.
Exactly, it's 6:30 p.m. at our place.
It's only 8:30 here in Canada, in Pacific Canada, where I am. So it's an honor to be connected around the globe.
Vilnius has the same clock, how this is called, as Jerusalem, as Israel. So
yes,
we are at the same time zone.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great for you guys. You guys are like Jerusalem North, are you not?
Yes.
So Rabbi Chaim made a trip there recently. How did that go? You got to meet him in person?
Yes, we did. We met Rabbi Chaim, and it was exciting meeting. We had a couple of minutes, an hour or 40 minutes to chat.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, we arranged that we will talk again personally on internet. We're hoping that something more of community except this one lecture a week, because maybe there is a Siddur prayer book of Noahide Brit Olam Center. Siddur in Hebrew.
Yeah, there's a prayer Siddur by Rabbi Hirki.
Yeah. So prayers is 3 times a day. So it's Shachrit, Mincha, Ma'ariv, 3 times a day, and the lighting of Shabbos candles. And for example, we do that every day, every single day, and to have such a community. We're not Jewish. We go to shul, to synagogue, and we would like, so we are arranging it.
Hi,
good morning,
Daniel. Hi,
we're so glad you're back.
Shalom.
Yeah. Shalom.
We were just chatting about your recent trip to Vilnius, and I see Daniel has joined us as well live, and we've got a few people online. So, Rabbi, we're going to turn it over to you because you're the teacher, and we met you over Pesach, and we're looking forward to hearing some more inspiring thoughts from the Bible, and we're so enjoying the words that you're sharing with us so far.
Yes, I'm trying. So first of all, hi everybody, good to see you. I'm sorry for the inconvenience of a few minutes late. I also missed you all on Passover, and after that also on the time of Vilnius. We had a very, very good trip there. We're doing there a lot of things, and this is also an opportunity. You don't know a bit what I'm doing also in the United States.
Yes.
And I'm also trying, we're trying to do this in Europe. We're doing those things also in Europe, in other places in the world. And
trying's the big thing.
Movement, I think that this movement of the Noahide is one of the, I will say, it's the most biggest revolution that we're going to do in the next coming generation in the world. I think that we're getting more and more people involved with this revolution. It's a revolutionary ideas, thoughts that was hidden along history in the Hebrew nation. And today we have the opportunity of taking them out, especially because the Hebrew nation is returned back, did a big redemption in this world after 2,000 years. And people are listening. People are listening to what we have to say, and people starting to say to themselves, maybe, those things that they said along history are right, and this is our mission. I feel very I will say it's a big honor for me to be in this period of time of history and to give those issues, those insights to the world.
We're the ones that are honored, Rabbi. I mean, that you would take the time, especially over the trials that have gone on in Jerusalem in the last couple of days. We're the ones that are honored that you would take the time to share with us. It is there's truth there in the Torah and in the Jewish tradition that we just cannot get anywhere else, and we are so thankful that you take the time.
Okay, thank you very much for that also. But again, it's very important that people will know that we have that there is I will say a purpose in life, a purpose of this universe and whatever it's happening here. So we will manage to combine together. And this is also why we're teaching the Torah. We're not just all the time debating against the other worlds, other ideas like the Christian world or the Muslim world or the things, the insights from the West. We're trying to show, to expose, to teach, to touch people and to bring them to the insights that we have through the Bible. And let's dive inside. So this was only an opening statement. Now let's dive inside. I want again to I hope tonight that we'll manage to finalize or to finish with things that I want to say in the first chapter of Genesis. After we spoke a very long, we had something like 4 sessions, I think, about the first chapter of Genesis, and we saw the structure of this chapter and how each day we have 4 stages and all of those things. Now we're starting to understand something very essential, I will say, in this issue of this book of the Bible, and this is, I will say, the contradiction, a very big contradiction that we have from the way that we live our life from one side, and the way that the Bible is opening on the other side. Because if you will, the thing that we have here, the Jews have here in between the ears, the brain that we have,
the gray matter.
It's not different than any other people in this world. We have the same brain. Let me close this down. We have the same brain. The difference that we have is not through the issue of the brain. And when we're taking, for example, a normal person, I will say the most highest level of the brain that we had in this world was people like Aristotle and people like Plato. Those people were the most, I will say, brilliant people in this world. Until today, we are using all the foundation that they laid down here so we can understand each other, with the logic that they put inside here.
Yes.
And when you ask those people, and they manage to define the exact situation that we have today, or that we can feel, that if you're looking around in this world, you can't see that it was created, that God created this world.
Right.
You're looking around and you see that everything is working in the nature world, and this is the science. The main issue of the science is to try to define and to understand and to inquire and to go deep inside how exactly this structure of this world is working from the Big Bang, since the Big Bang 14 billion years ago till today, and how everything was built up. But if you're looking on this, I will say, on this world, the experience that we have no clue or nothing that will hint that this world was being built up, or that someone created this world. Mm-hmm. But when we are looking in the first sentence of the Bible and the first few chapters of the Bible, we hear something else that came to us through the prophecy. It didn't come through the brain. It didn't come through the logic world. If I will say that the Hebrew nation believe, or those who believe today, it's not only the Hebrew nation, but this world was being created by a creator, it's because we understand this logically and we can prove this logically. I will lie to you, because logically, it's already Aristotle said it, and then the Maimonides said it. And after that also, we know that Immanuel Kant said it. Logically, you can't force one side to or other side. You can't say, you don't have any more proof that someone created this world, or that this world was forever or was created by itself. The experience that we have is that this world wasn't created. It's working with the rules without any side of moral behavior in this world. You know, someone that is sleeping on a banana, he will break his leg if he is a very honorable person, very moral person, or if he's a very bad person. It doesn't connect it. The nature is working similarly for everybody. So from one side, we see that the world, or we experience that the world wasn't really created, but it was a long time from here, or it was by itself created without any interference. And this is logically. From the other side, we see that the Bible is starting with this first sentence. In the beginning of creation, God created heaven and earth. So, but it's not something that we got or that we understand from the brain, from our brilliant brain that we have.
Measurement.
It's something that we got from the prophecy side. And also today, when we're speaking about scientific people who are explaining this world in scientific way, and I have connection with few people in the United States, that some of them are professors in the physics area, and they wrote books, how we can understand or we can prove that God created this world. It is not coming from the scientific side, it's coming from the belief side. And the belief side that we are speaking today, that this world was created, it's something that is starting from this first chapter of Genesis, that God is trying to show us or exposing to in front of us through the prophecy that he created this world. And this is very important to understand, and this is what we explained in the last times that we were together, that until the sixth day, this world was all the time created. From the seventh day, God is sitting aside. He is not interfering unless there is a very big crisis, like in Egypt or something like that. He is not interfering. He's not doing miracles. He's not breaking the laws of nature. But this is how we need to understand, and this is, I will say, the opening statement of what we have learned till now. Okay? If there are any questions, I will relay. If not, we will continue on.
You've got people here. Paul Garcia is thanking you for your service.
Another few very important notes from the first chapter of Genesis. Maybe I will say another one more sentence, and then I will give time for questions. It is important to understand that the first three chapters of Genesis are not speaking in our, I will say, in our dimension. Okay, the first chapter of Genesis is speaking when we didn't have any man in this world at all, not man, not woman, nobody. It was before man was created. So nobody can really say what exactly happened there. And what is written down in the Bible is more explaining some sort of moral issues we will see in a moment. Moral issues as a foundation in this world. And the next coming chapters, chapter 2 and chapter 3, before man was kicked out from Eden, it's also a place that is not really in this world. Okay, Eden and heaven, and all those words are related to place that we will manage to touch, to be in contact with after the Messiah will come. But it's not related to this world. So those three chapters are putting foundations of things. So we will start to think different, I will say, than just the logic world that we have. The logic world that we have is very important, very good. It's helping us to live here and everything else. We are not throwing this out, but we need to understand that the prophecy that we got before those three chapters are putting foundations of different understanding what's happening in this world. So those were only, I will say, few sentences of statements at the beginning, so we can go dive inside to more very important notes that we have from the first chapter. If there are any questions, this is the time. If not, I will continue on. Everything is okay, Danielle? Wait your hand.
No questions at this point. Oh, you can't hear me.
Okay, Vilius, everything is okay?
Yeah, no questions at this time, Rabbi. Paul Garcia does say thank you for your service. We've got Cole with us from Seattle. We even have Paul from San Antonio, Texas. And, of course, our good friend William Allen is here as well. But no questions at this time, Rabbi.
Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do now, I want to read. I'm asking you, Dan, to read. I will share the screen. I'm asking you, Dan, to read the first words of the commentator Rashi of the beginning, in the beginning of Genesis. Those are his first words. And it's very important to understand. This is under the verse. It's even, I will say, some sort of introductory. The first words and the words in the beginning. The first three words that we have in the Bible. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And exactly, yes. I'm asking you, Dan, to read.
Okay, Rabbi.
Rashi? Yes.
You've shared some wonderful stuff with me in the past about in the beginning, so this is exciting. In the beginning, said Rabbi Isaac, it was not necessary to begin the Torah except from this month is to you, out of Exodus 12:2, which is the first commandment that the Israelites were commanded. For the main purpose of the Torah is its commandments. And although several commandments are found in Genesis, example, circumcision and the prohibition of eating the high sinew, they could have been included together with the other commandments. Now, for what reason did he commence with in the beginning? Because of the verse, the strength of his works he related to his people to give them the inheritance of the nations, from Psalm 111:6. For if the nations of the world would say to Israel, you are robbers, for you conquered by force the lands of the 7 nations of Canaan, they will reply, the entire earth belongs to the Holy One, blessed be he. He created it, this we learn from the story of the creation, and gave it to whomever he deemed proper when he wished. He gave it to them, and when he wished, he took it away from them and gave it to us.
Okay, this is a new beginning, I would say, that I've never exposed. This is the first time that I'm speaking about this, not only online. I never said it
yes.
ever in English, I will say it like that. The question here is very hard. Okay, Rashi is asking a very hard question. We know
for sure
that the most important, I will say, purpose of the Torah, or this is what we thought. Okay, the main purpose of the Torah is the commandments themselves. Okay, the main issue is the commandments. And if the main issue, the main purpose of the Torah is the commandments, so we need to start in Exodus, when we're starting to get all the commandments of doing the Passover issue, and after that, all sorts of other, a lot of commandments that we have. We have something like 613 commandments. So let's start the Bible with those words. Why are we starting the Bible from the issue of, in the beginning, God created this world? Now, I think that I'm not sure what is more surprising here, okay? The question or the answer, because the answer is even much more amazing, I will say it like that. The answer is that that God decided to start with this word of the beginning because he wants to teach us how he is working in this world. Now, the God is not something abstract that is living out there and with how people is imagining to themselves, something that is living up there in heaven with a very long beard, and he's, he's punishing this man, but he's also giving a good reward, or I'll say
Favorable.
It's not. Yes, but it's not. It's not the word, because in the Christian world, he's saying it in a different way. But he's also giving good things. No, it's he's doing redemption. Okay, to whom he wants to do redemption. That's it. He's letting them out. This is not the way that the Hebrew nation is relating and getting connection with God. The God of the Hebrew nation is the God of history. He is the God that is holding our hands along history and helping us in the good times that we have and in the hard time that we have. And because God is with us in the good times and in the hard times, when we are in the hard times and we are in the exile, now listen carefully to what I'm saying. When we are in the hard time, when we went out to the exile, what happened is that the world felt that God is missing, is lacking. The Jews killed him. He was with them in the Hebrew nation, in the Hebrew land. When they left the Hebrew land, they killed God. And if they killed God, we need to demolish them. We need to put them aside. This is what's happening here. And God is more than that. If you will see, for example, this issue, when Rashi is explaining this verse, okay, we have the verse in the Psalms. I'm marking the verse in Psalms, but he's explaining this verse, okay. The strength of his work he related to his people to give them the inheritance of the nations, okay. But he's explaining it because what he's saying, they will reply, the entire earth belongs to the Holy One, blessed be he. He created it, as we can see in this chapter that we have now, and he gave it to whomever he deemed proper when he wished. Yeah. Deemed proper, we're speaking again, if I'm reminding this all the time, this is a moral understanding. This is not, that he said to himself by this way, deemed proper. When the Hebrew nation are behaving in the right way, then God is giving them this land. But it is related to our behavior. The opening of the Bible is to say to us that this world is not working only, or is not functioning only with rules that you can find out through the nature of this world. The world is working also related to the behavior of man, because the God who created this world, he did it in a moral, I will say, in a moral action. From his side, it was a moral action. He, the Almighty, was here in all of the places. Nobody had any space to have here. So he pulled himself outside a bit, to give the space to others. So this is a moral behavior. And this is the way that he decided to build up this world. And everything that's happening in this world, even though you can't see it in the first glance that you're looking at this world, everything is related to how proper you're acting or not acting, as in a personal level, but also in the nation levels. And this is the opening statement of the Bible and the opening statement of the Rashi, the most important person who is the most important rabbi, that is explaining this Bible. And this is how we are looking on all of this world, that it was created, something that we got from the prophecy side, not from the brain side, not from the logic side, and also that everything here in this world is working in relation to the proper behavior that people are doing, in a moral side. This is the first step. Now that we've learned a bit the structure of this first chapter, and we know that this world is started like someone who created it. God created this world, but now he is holding himself. So we will manage to do here things. Now we can understand this beginning of the Bible with Rashi and how he is explaining it. And this was very important to do this first step. Questions till now?
Rabbi, so
yes.
this is about reward and punishment? Am I right?
Yes, exactly. It's also related to reward and punishment, because all of this world is not only working on structure of nature and closed laws of the nature that are not connected to our behavior. Everything is also related to our behavior. And this is also when God is giving us this world, this country, okay? He is doing it when we are deemed proper, not only every time he's giving us. So there are times that we are inside this land, and there are times that we went to an exile. I can say to you in Breckles, that there won't be any more exiles, okay? We finished. We did
good
already.
To hear.
We did already. And this is also related to this week. This is also why I'm speaking about this, because this week we have our Independence Day, another 2 days. We're celebrating. And there were a few, we'll say, hard days that we passed in the last few days with the Arabs that are related to the Iran area. Iran, who wants to, they think they have all sorts of minds that they're going to kill all of the Jewish nation. But we can see that they're not managing, and they won't manage. But this is exactly the situation. The understanding that everything is also related to the human behavior, and this is the main issue of God created this world. The decision that I'm explaining this a lot in my courses that you can, through my site, you can get it for free. That the decision, the starting point that each one is taking to himself. This world was created by a creator, and it's a moral behavior. Or this world wasn't created by a creator, but it was always those two, I will say, sides. It's a decision that each one of us can take to himself or by himself, without anybody else forcing him from outside to decide in what stage he's taking his life. He can decide to behave morally, and he can decide to behave not morally. Because logically, you can't prove that this world was created. It's something that was being said through the prophecy. And we believe on this issue, not because we are more logically thinking something else than others, because we don't think different in our logic than others. We have the same brain, all of us, all of this. If I would have said that the Hebrew nation are thinking logically different than others, then I would have said something that is related to racism.
Right.
But we're not. We're not different than others. So the issue of understanding that we have, that we're saying that this world was created by God, it's something that we are saying because we got it through the prophecy. And the prophecy is something that is running differently. Also, this inheritance of the prophecy is running differently.
Rabbi?
And, yes.
While you're on that point, I mean, because you're getting right around this question. I got a question here from Cole in Seattle. He said, "Why do you think Hashem took the land from the Canaanites in the first place, just to give to the Hebrew nation, or did the Canaanites lose favor?"
Since this is a very,
I think you just mentioned about prophecy, and does this not have to do with the prophecy or promise to Abraham too? So,
first of all, it is related to the prophecy, but we need to understand why. And I'm opening. Just a moment. Let me open this for a moment, and I will share this screen also. Here it is. Let me share this screen, and I will ask you, Dan, to read it.
Sure.
Let me do this sharing. No. How do I do this sharing now? Oh, stop share. Okay, excellent. Now I'm sharing back another screen. Here it is. share. Dan, can you see this or it's closed?
Oh, yeah, I can
read
see it.
Okay, so read first of all.
And the Lord spoke to Moses.
The first three sentences, okay?
And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, I am the Lord your God. Like the practice of the land of Egypt, in which you dwelled, you shall not do, and like the practice of the land of Canaan, to which I am bringing you, you shall not do, and you shall not follow their statutes.
Now, why is that? Because they're doing bad statutes. And now we're having a very long conversation with God that He's telling to us how to be more holiest in the sexual side. And He's finalizing everything, okay? He's finalizing everything. Just a moment, I'll find you the... and then he's saying, read 25, 26, 27. Read it till the end. From 25, read to the end. And this is the explanation why God decided to take them out and bring us. Okay?
I think that's the perfect answer to Cole's question for sure. And the land became defiled, and I visited its sin upon them, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But as for you, you shall observe my statutes and my ordinances, and you shall not do like any of these abominations, neither the native nor the stranger who sojourns among you. For the people of the land who preceded you did all of these abominations, and the land became defiled. And let the land not vomit you out for having defiled it, as it vomited out the nation that preceded you. For anyone who commits any of these abominations, the person doing so shall be cut off from the midst of their people, and you shall observe my charge not to commit any of the abominable practices that were done before you, and you shall not become defiled by them. I am the Lord your God.
So what we're speaking here, that to behave morally in a sexual situation, okay, for example, not to sleep, not to lay down with your sister or with your mother. There's a very big list here. So you can look at this on the list after that. To behave morally is related to, are you going to be in this land or not? I will say it like that. It's like, this is a palace of God, okay? Now, in the palace, you need to behave like in the palace, you know? You're not going to date everything and to do a lot of bad things. And God is a moral God. He is behaving morally with us, and we need also to behave morally. So everything here is related to this issue of the moral situation. And this is how God is working in this world. Now, when you look in your, I'll say in your logic world, I will say glasses, in this world, you won't be able to see this moral issue. But when you're understanding, this is how the Bible is starting, that everything here is related to this moral situation, and then you're starting to see those answers inside the Bible. And this is how the Bible is looking on those things. So, and this is also the answer for why God decided to take them out from here and to put the Hebrew nation inside. And when we didn't behave in the normal way, in the moral way, we were also being in a big exile. And everybody felt that God, since He went with us outside, okay, left His palace, left His place, and everybody blamed the Hebrew nation that we killed God. We need to understand what happened here. Okay. Wow. Now that we're coming back, people are saying to themselves, there is something there very important. Let's listen to what they have to say. And this is more or less what's happening. Now we're starting to understand the history of the world. You know, I'm saying it in a big glance, but this is what's happening. And this is the opening statement of the Bible. This is how the Bible is starting. I can show you another. Let's see another.
No, Cole liked the answer. He really said, "Thank you for the answer. Great answer, Rabbi." And Cole's a fairly knowledgeable gentleman, and he appreciates that. I appreciate you showing us that out of Leviticus chapter 18. That is beautiful. It totally answers his question. Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. I will show you another few sentences again from another part. Just a moment, let me find it in a moment. Here it is. You can see in number 13, okay?
And
please,
and it will be, if you hearken to my commandments that I command you this day, to love the Lord your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, I will give you.
read it out, yes.
I'll give you the rain of your land at its time, the early rain and the latter rain, and you will gather in your grain, your wine, and your oil.
Oil.
And I'll give you grass in your field for your livestock, and you will eat and be sated.
Beware, please read it, okay?
Beware lest your heart be misled, and you turn away and worship strange gods, and prostrate yourself before them, and the wrath of the Lord will be kindled against you, and he will close off the heavens, and there will be no rain, and the ground will not give its produce, and you will perish quickly from upon the good land that the Lord gives you.
If I will ask each one of us, okay, what is the connection, what is the relation between my behavior and the rain that is coming from heaven, everybody will say to us, there is no connection. But again, you see that in the understanding, okay, of the Bible, from the beginning, from the first sentence, okay, everything is related. Our behavior from one side, and the connection with the nature from the other side, and the connection for us in this land from the third side. Everything is related, and everything is starting from our behavior. Okay, so this is answering exactly what the question that was been before. If there are any more questions, this is the time. If not, I will continue on.
Oh, we're okay at the moment. We've been joined by Julia in Cape Town, South Africa.
Wow. So we are worldwide today, okay?
We're getting there, yes, sir.
We have from Europe, we have Daniel from South America, and we have from Canada, and we have from South Africa. Very nice, very good. Hi, everybody. We are a worldwide class, very important. But because those are the words, we are learning the Bible, and the Bible is something that God wrote down or spoke to us. He didn't wrote down, it spoke to us. And God, he created all of us. He created all of the world. So those are the words for all of us. It's okay. It's excellent. I want to go back to the first chapter, okay, and to show another thing. I think that we have a short time. I wanted to show two things, but I will show only one thing. And the last one I will show I will prepare a PowerPoint, and I will show this in a very exact way because it's very detailed. I will just ask, after that I will ask a question. I want to show here something a bit else. And it's very important. It's also related to something that is connected to the moral issues. So let me run down for here it is. Now, we're going to speak about the fourth day, okay? Day number 4. That this is the day that God said, let there be luminaries in the expanse of the heavens. Okay, please read the sentence number 14, verse number 14.
And God said, let there be luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to separate between the day and between the night, and they shall be for signs and for appointed seasons and for days and for years.
Okay, excellent. Now I have a question. One of them is big, or they're the same? They are the same sizes. What do you say?
You mean the lights?
Yeah, the luminaries. One of them are bigger than the other one, or they're the same sizes?
Well, they exist. My understanding would be that how does the separation happen? And I believe it happens with the rotation of the planet.
But you're explaining things. You're explaining things in, I will say, in the nature side.
Yes.
I already said that here we're not really exposing only the nature side. We are speaking about moral issues because those are things that happened before man was here. So we're
Right.
speaking about something a bit different. And especially now we know today, look on verse number 15, for example. Please read verse number 15 and 16, please.
And they shall be for luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to shed light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made the two great luminaries, the great luminary to rule the day and the lesser luminary to rule the night, and the stars.
So now I really got confused. Because in the beginning, there are two great luminaries, right? And the end of the sentence, we're speaking about one is big and one is small. One is large and one is extra large, I will say. It's a very, very small one. And I don't understand exactly what is happening here. Now, usually when people are reading it, they're saying, we know, we're explaining this exactly what he meant. God meant that it will be two luminaries, but one will be big and one will be small. But this is not what is said here. It says here that God wanted in the beginning to create, not to create. It's not a creation, by the way. It says something else. God said, okay, we'll speak about this. God said after that, that there will be two luminaries, okay? And in the beginning, he said he made two great luminaries. And after a few sentences, at the end of the sentence, one is a big one, a great one, and one is a laser one. One is a very small one. So we know today that we're speaking about one is the sun and one is the moon. But again, we're not speaking about those issues here. It's not mentioned here. There is here a very important, I will say, a very important story that is being given along history from the Hebrew sages. And I want you to, if it's possible, to read. I hope that you can see that.
I can see it. Yes, sir.
Okay. The two great luminaries. Please read
the two great luminaries. They were created equal, but the moon was made smaller because it brought charges and said, it is impossible for two kings to use the same crown. From Shulin 60b, Rashi explains that this darash is based on the discrepancy of the two expressions, the two great luminaries, which intimates that the moon was a great luminary, and the lesser luminary, which intimates that the moon was smaller than the sun. To reconcile this difference, the rabbis asserted that the moon was originally created equal to the sun, but because of its complaint that the sun wielded the same power that it wielded, it was forced to relinquish that power. And the stars, because
no, this is enough. This is enough.
Okay.
You know what? No, continue. Sorry, continue. Because, and the stars.
And the stars, because he diminished the moon. He increased its hosts to appease it. From Genesis Rabbah 46:4 and Shulin 60b. The stars serve as the entourage of the moon when it comes out. They accompany it, and when it sets, they too set.
So what is happening here? It's an interesting story. So we're going back again. So in the beginning of the creation, where the land and the world have still some sort of a free will. We spoke about this in previous meetings of us. Now God is creating two big luminaries, and the moon is saying something very logic. It's coming to God and says to God, it can't be that two kings will be in the same place. There's only one king that could be here. Now, there are two levels. I want to speak about two levels. Okay, I will say the first a very simple level, and then I will explain the very deep level of this situation. The first level is that the moon is speaking with God, and God is the king of the kings. And you can't approach the king of the kings and speak about who can be a king next to me. The moon is saying, now in the Hebrew words, the word shemesh, the word of the sun, shemesh, It's the same word of someone who is understanding that he is a servant. And this is the difference between the moon and the sun. When the sun understands that it's only a servant in front of God the Almighty, the King of the Kings, then it's very big. When someone is understanding that he is a king next to Almighty, next to God, so God is saying to him, you know what, go down, diminish yourself. And this is, I will say, the first level of this understanding of this story. But the most, I will say, inside understanding of this story is something much bigger. Until the first day, nothing really moved in this world, okay? In the first day, we had the day and the light and darkness, day and night. On the second day, we had the difference between the water and the earth, but nothing really moved here, okay? The moon understood that if we want that something will start moving in this world, we need to have some sort of tension that something here in this world, always there will be someone who is more bigger and someone that want to achieve to be bigger like his friends. And there's always levels between people, okay? There are always the parents and the children's. And the children's also want to be sometime parents. Also in the parents, you have the one side of when you're speaking about the father, and you have the mother. And there are differences between them. If everything will be the same, nothing will move here. Nothing will start moving in this world. And the moon understood that. So she came to God and she said to God, you know, one of us is supposed to be smaller and one of us is supposed to be bigger. So God said to the moon, excellent, you understand. When we will start this issue, something will start here with moving, all of this world will move. And the moon was very upset because it said to God, you don't need to take me down, put the sun much higher, you know. But I won't go inside to this. It's a very, very unique midrash that is being in Chulin, okay, that is that we're explaining this midrash. But the issue is that we're starting to understand that this world have levels, different levels, and those levels, this is what is driving this world to move on. You know, people are trying all the time to catch up the other level that they have, or the other level that they see in front of them. And this is what is moving, is driving this world. And this is exactly what God started here in this world by, from one side, started with two big luminaries, and then he diminished one of them, and then we're starting to try all the time that it will be that people will try manage to achieve, you know, the next level and the next level, and it's pushing people. Now, when we understand this logic, we also understand that these levels that we have in this world, it's also the level between God who created this world and the creatures or this world that was created by God. And this is something inherited inside this world. It is not connected to any bad thing that anybody in this world did. It's connected, but because to only one, that God decided to create this world, and this is already organized, that we are in a far distance from the Creator, and we want to achieve to be close back to Him, to be closer to Him, to achieve the next level, to be closer to God. And the understanding of this is that redemption is not related at all to the wrong things that Adam and Eve did. Usually, especially in the Christian world, everything is starting not in the first chapter of Genesis. Everything is starting when Adam and Eve did the sin. And then you're saying, because of the woman, we have a sin. Or Adam was a sin. And everybody here in a sin situation. No. The situation of the, I will say, separation from God that is being already said here in a hint, okay? It started because God created this world, and then we have God who created, who is a big luminaire, and us
Wow.
as people who are small luminaires, and we want back to achieve, to be close to God. And it's not related at all to anything or to any sin that we did.
Wow. All the way back to the very beginning. Rabbi, that blows my mind. Can I make a quick statement? And that is science today is proving that the moon is conclusively moving away. And it ties in completely with what you're saying, that it's being lessened, it's being shrunken, it's being diminished, as you put. Now, I also have a question here from Julia in South Africa. She's asking, Rabbi, is the light in verse 4 and the luminaries, meaning the sun and the moon, the same light?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
Her question was, is the light, when God said, let there be light, I believe that was verse 3. She said verse 4. The light, she's asking, is that light and the luminaries, meaning the sun and the moon, the same light? In my understanding,
okay.
There's
what do you want to say? Answer, you answer, and I will also answer.
My understanding is that if you're going to look at it from an exact, precise point, you have to say it's from the vantage point of the earth, Julia. Okay? So the mixing together of light at the very beginning, from the perspective of the earth, nobody could discern the difference. So, light is light. It's light. But the separation, is part of a different verse when God, and he separated the light from the darkness. And he set one to rule the day and one to rule the night. When you're talking about just light versus what is causing those lights, there is a connection factually in science. I am convinced, but the moral lessons being taught here by the rabbis is that there's a greater truth coming from Hashem that goes all the way back to the very beginning.
Yes, let me, and I also want to give you an answer, okay, about this issue. If you will look careful on the days that we have, we will see that the first 3 days, God is creating all sorts of things, but they are in a status, they are staying in the same status quo, I will say it like that. Nothing there is moving, nothing there is
distinguishable.
Everything is stable, okay? In the first day, he created light, I will say the light and darkness. And the second day, he's creating water and earth. And the third day, he's creating the trees, okay? The trees are not moving. The trees are staying in the same place. And then in the fourth day, the fifth day, and the sixth day, he's creating everything that all the time is moving, not in the same status, okay? But it's the same things. So in the fourth day, he's also creating day and night, okay, but it's moving. It's the sun and the sun and the moon are moving, okay. In the fifth day, he's creating all the fish, that everything that is moving in the water, and all the animals, everything that is moving on the earth. Again, speaking about moving things. And the sixth day is speaking about the man who is moving in this world. So we have 3 days that in a very static way, and 3 days that in a moving day, okay. In the Hebrew tradition, the week is starting on Wednesday morning, on Tuesday night, okay, and finalizing again in Tuesday night. And this is why we have the Saturday in the middle, the day that we are resting, I will say it like that. Okay, after 3 days of moving, doing things, we are resting for 3 days. After that, we're resting on the Saturday, and also the 3 days are connected to the first day. I won't go inside to this issue. It's a very big issue. We can give for this also, we can give also another big lesson for that. I'm asking you, Dan, to read from Ishaya something that is a bit related. I'm combining
verse
here
26.
Together. Yes, verse 26. I'm combining here together something that is related to a moral issue, but also hinting a bit things that you said with the issue of the moon that is getting away.
That's what I love about you, Rabbi, is you always pull this together for me, and it seems to work. Verse 26 says, and the light of the moon shall be like the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold as the light of the 7 days. On the day the Lord shall bind the fracture of his people, and the stroke of their wound he shall heal.
When we're speaking about that, the Messiah will come, the end of the days, then again, as you said, the moon is going to be much greater, and the sun is going to be even greater than greater. What we're saying here, that everything will move 1 or 2 or 3 steps ahead. And this is the most important issue to understand. Everything here is all the time moving. We're pushing ourselves. We're getting closer to God. We won't be God. We won't be creative, and on the level of God. But we are getting closer to God. And this is what we explained a bit with this issue of the 4th day. What's happening there? All of this motion, all of this moving thing is starting with those 2 luminaries that are starting, the same level. And then God is demolishing one of them. And this one that was demolished is trying to achieve to the next level. And everyone is trying to achieve his next level. And this is how the world is starting to move on and not to stay on the same level that it was before, and everything is resting down. So this is in a moral understanding. And we also understand in a moral way that in this world we have already, it's an inside thing that when God created this world, he created creatures that are less than him. And it's not related, this issue of redemption, and that all of us trying to be or to get closer to God, it's not related to any wrong thing that we did. We didn't do any wrong thing. By being created, we're already lower than God, and we want to achieve more with ourselves. This is the moral understanding of this situation. I must, yes, if there are any questions, if not, yes, if you wanted to ask something, please, yes.
Okay, I don't want to interrupt you, but I just wanted to comment that on the 4th day, when it talks about the separation of the light and the darkness, if we're considering the vantage point of the earth, and that the day 3, when the grass, and the plants came, there is a scientific, geoforming procedure that's going on here. You have oxygenation of the planet. And so after the grass, the green is there, it swallows up the carbon dioxide, and it emits oxygen into the atmosphere, which would make the celestial clear. And I think that plays a big factor in the tangible reality of the early Torah. But I know I can never get the moral side on my own.
No, exactly.
I appreciate you sharing it.
Now, first of all, I also can't get it on my own, and I'm getting it because I'm all the time studying with my rabbis. Okay, that was studying with their rabbis and with their rabbis, till Moses. And this is also to understand this issue in moral level. But you're more than right. I'm not saying that not to understand this, I will say, logic understanding of what's happening here in the scientific side.
But there's more going on for sure.
Yes. Now I need to finish, but okay. I will finish with a question for the next time. Okay. We are going to have next time another very important insight in a moral issue from the 1st day, and then we'll also continue from chapter 2, and then we'll continue on with this Genesis. And my question is very simple, and I'm going to read now verse number 3 in the 1st day of Genesis. Okay, we're speaking about verse number 3 in the Bible. And the verse is saying like that. And God said, "Let there be light." And now my question is very simple. If God, the Almighty, the one who can do whatever he wants to do, and when he decides to do something, he's doing it, and he said that let there be a light, do we have any doubt that God created the light? Of course not. So why it is written down, and there was light? We don't need to read those to write this part of the sentence. God said, let there be light. Of course there will be a light. This part of the sentence is unnecessary. And what does it want to say to us? Okay, again, moral issues. We need to think about moral. So I will stay with this question. And unfortunately, I need to finish. I need to go to something else that I have commitment. But we are going to meet next week, hopefully. And I will send also again, I will send to everybody how to go inside to this lesson. Thank you very much to everyone for being with us. And if you have any questions, you can still put them on the. You can still put them on the internet. You can ask questions. It's also going. We put it on the.
It'll be on YouTube, and I'll try and put it up on Facebook as well, Rabbi. So if you have some questions, folks, feel free to email the rabbi, write the rabbi. You can catch his information. You can visit him at BibleVerseOfToday.com, or you can comment on this YouTube page, and he'll get to it and look at it. But if you go to BibleVerseOfToday.com, you might be able to hook up with Rabbi Chaim and maybe even get up here on the conversation if you're from different areas, so we make sure that you're there. Rabbi, we thank you so much, and we know you have a busy day, and we blessings to you, and know that our prayers are with all Israel.
Thank you very much. Everybody be blessed from Jerusalem, and thank you very much for attending, and hope to see you next week. Bye.